with regards to the goaltending coach position, just what prompted the change? Just what shortcomings did you see in that area that prompted you to make that change?
You know, when you make decisions like that, a lot of it is what your gut's telling you, and obviously, when it comes to decisions of this magnitude, you talk to all your people, and I certainly got opinions from all our people, and in the end, just felt like we needed a change. Obviously, we had Andy sitting right there, and with his experience and knowledge of the organization, the goaltenders, he was in the end the right guy.
Taylor Haas.
Hi, Ron. Thanks for doing this. Did you look at any outside options for the goaltending job, and just what put Chiodo over the top? Was it that experience with the goalies?
I think, well, there's a lot of things. I really like the way Andy came up through the Ontario League, the American League / development, and now on to the NHL. I actually watched Andy as a scout way back in the day when he was in Wilkes-Barre, so I understand the competitiveness, understanding the position, and, you know, being for the most part a minor league goalie, the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs. Spent some time in Europe, so I just really like the profile of what he is, and talking to a lot of the people around here that are familiar with him, there wasn't a bad word said about him. His attention to detail on our prospects and our goalies in Wilkes there, you know, delving into the mental side of it, and, you know, their lives to some degree. I just like what he brings to the table, the feel, and I've met him a couple times and felt comfortable that he was the right guy.
Rob Rossi.
When you look at Tristan, I think all the physical tools are there. I think everybody would agree on that. Sometimes some situational awareness hasn't been. When you talk about some of the things you've just mentioned about Andy, how much of that goes into what you hope and expect Tristan to get back to in terms of his level? Well,
there's certainly that's part of it. I mean, Andy's job obviously now is predominantly the two guys on the big team. So hopefully we can make some little tweaks. And like I said, the mental side of the game for a goaltender is a huge part of it, and Andy is well aware of that. So I think, again, going back to Jar's experience from last year, he's still a young goalie that's learning. And I believe he's going to learn a lot from last year. And like I said, I really like what Andy's going to bring to the table here.
Dan Kingerski.
Hi, Ron, if I can go to your roster, if I might, the defenseman in front of the goalie, it would look like right now Mark Friedman would be your third pairing right side defenseman. Is that something you're comfortable with going into the season, or might that be one of the tweaks that you're still working on?
Well, as I've said to you guys numerous times, we'll look to upgrade at any position. If we can upgrade on defense, we'll certainly look at it. We don't have much wiggle room in terms of cap space, so we'd have to get creative. But I think Freedy and Chad are both guys that we feel can certainly play in the league, along with a guy like Uso and obviously P.O. So I think the other thing is, you know, you look at guys like Petey and John Marino, and we think there's more there. They're both young players. There's more there than they gave us last year, and both, you know, talking to them at year end, feel like there's more there. So we feel in some ways like, you know, there's upside in those two players, which could really help solidify our defense.
Wes Crosby.
Hey, Ron, going back to Tristan, just in your discussions with him after the season ended, did you get the sense, or how much of a sense did you get that he is in the right spot to kind of bounce back from what was a tough playoff performance for him?
Yeah, I do believe he is. You know, when you're a goaltender, and I've lived it, there's disappointments that you have to get over and you have to bounce back from. And I feel strongly that Tristan's gonna he's going to bounce back and be a very good goaltender for us throughout the entire year.
Jim Colony.
Yeah, Ron, where is Casey DeSmith in his recovery, and would you anticipate him being all set to go once you guys report here next month?
He's I watched him actually for a few minutes on the ice yesterday. He's back on the ice, taking shots. He looked terrific yesterday. I chatted with him briefly, and everything is going very well. So I anticipate him being 100% long before training camp.
Seth.
Hey, Ron, I asked this while acknowledging the league calendar is still kind of off due to the pandemic, but why make the move right now in early August compared to maybe June or July? Or was it just a matter of, as you said earlier, talking to your people in your organization and then arriving at a decision?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It's going through the process, making sure we're thinking of everything and talking things through, and there has been a lot going on. So it's one of those things that's kind of been a little bit of an ongoing conversation here. And it's one of those things you like to do as soon as you can at the end of the year, but sometimes there's other things that either take precedent or there's a little bit more of a process that you want to go through, and that was the case here.
Taylor.
What are your plans for replacing Chiodo in that development role? Is that something you expect to be able to do before the season starts?
Yeah, we're actually just starting to get into that. Things don't seem to ever cool down around here, but so Andy will kind of lead that process, and in the end, Patrick, myself, and Buckey will all talk to probably a couple of candidates at the end, and alongside with Andy make a decision on who's best for the situation. But we're definitely going to replace him. That's an important role, being in Wilkes and getting out to hopefully see our prospects this year. Obviously, also with the Zoom. So one of those things that the Bloomquists and the Clang, they need some attention from the organization and some teaching and some mentoring. So we'll definitely look for the best guy we can find there.
Rob.
Ron, I noticed that when it comes to when it comes to the equipment staff, John Taglianetti's now the head equipment manager, or at least he's listed as that. Was that what went into that decision? If you can.
That's just kind of where we felt like we were at. Spoke to Dana and John both, and that's where all felt comfortable, and Dana felt very comfortable there too. So it wasn't that much of a change. A little bit of a change in title for Dana, but all is good there.
We have one last question that was submitted by Michelle Crecchiolo. Why did you target Danton Heinen, and what value do you feel he can bring to the team?
He's a well-rounded player that we feel like there's some upside there. I mean, there's obvious numbers in Boston there at the start of his career that kind of catch your eye. We feel like there's a little bit more goal scoring there. He can kill penalties, and we just feel like he's a good fit for our team. Can play both wings. We feel like there's a little bit of a value signing, so hopefully he can do what we expect him to do here.